Hi guys and welcome back to the kingdom. I hope you guys have had positive and productive weeks this week. So first off, before we get into this video, as you will have seen from the thumbnail and the first 10 seconds of this thing, I am very sunburnt. I went to a frisbee tournament last weekend and there was a lot of wind and as such did not feel the sun, and my forehead is now on fire and resembling a tomato. So yeah, the tournament is aptly named Sunburn, and that is exactly what I got. So I had great fun. It was such a wonderful day by the beach, such a wonderful day playing frisbee. But yeah, that is why my head resembles, you know, being smacked with a ketchup bottle. Anyway, we are not talking about my sunburn. Today we are talking about one of my favourite ever characters in fiction, whether it's a book, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV show. This is the comedic hidden badass. Now, the comedic hidden badass is, for the most part, introduced as comedic fodder or comedic relief in the storyline. They're generally quite funny or quite surprising with the things that they come out with, and then when the going gets tough you kind of expect them to sort of wimp out or be a side character, but out of nowhere comes some truly fantastic cosmic powers that just blow everything out of the water. And they are one of my favourite characters because there is so much you can do with this kind of side character and they can have so much of an impact on your story. So let's do this. So, your comedic hidden badass generally does what it says on the tin. They provide some really great comic relief and also can pack a serious punch. Generally, when the going isn't so tough, they tend to be goofy, mess around, and generally provide some comic relief. But then, when the situation toughens up a bit, they can throw around some truly impressive weight. As a result, they tend to be quite the crowd pleaser of a character because they are all both funny and cool. And guess what? People tend to like that combination of characteristics. The comedic hidden badass will generally not be the main character, although it can be in some cases. However, they will almost always be in the main circle of friends because they breathe so much hilarity and drama, and that is really good for the entertainment. Here are some examples of popular comedic hidden badasses in culture today. The first one that springs to mind is Jake Peralta in Brooklyn's Nine-Nine. He comes across as this massive man-child that is just so excited about everything. He could basically be a 13-year-old boy again, but when the tough gets going, he dials this aspect of himself back gradually to get more and more serious as the situation demands. And Jake Peralta comes out with some really great stuff. He comes out with some really great detective work. He is obviously clearly very skilled with a gun and he knows how to handle hostage situations. So that is his hidden badass kicking in. Another example of a comedic hidden badass from a book world would be Fred and George Weasley from Harry Potter. Now, they love having a joke, love messing around. They tend to take most things with a bit of a pinch of salt. Nothing is really very serious for them, but when things do get serious, they can buckle down, they pitch in. And let's not forget that they've mimicked Parseltongue and they've impressed teachers with their magic. They've invented spells that they sell in their joke shop, which is hugely successful. Fred and George are not the main characters or in the main sphere of characters in Harry Potter, but I would definitely say they are one of the most loved set of characters, and their antics just provided some much needed comic relief to such a serious storyline. What is brilliant about this character is that a lot of the time when it comes to a fight, your comedic character is often pretty useless and as such is just kind of annoying to have around, and when you have a powerhouse in a book, they can come off as pretty one-dimensional and useless when you're not in a fight. As such, combining these two characteristics into one character helps you come up with a fully formed, fully fleshed out, useful character throughout most of the book and allows you to strip things out and declutter your book. You also get the really awesome reveal in the middle of your book where your lovable goof turns around and shows his fantastic cosmic powers, and that can really wow your audience. I also find that these characters often have the most emotional impact on me as well when I'm reading or consuming fiction, because when they go through an emotional trauma and that funny part of themselves isn't there, that part of their personality is just lacking, I don't know if you guys feel this, but I feel their trauma so much more deeply because it's like that side of themselves has been cut off. The fact that not even a little part of that side of themselves, that big side of themselves, is slipping through is just so much more heartbreaking because they're not even capable of being funny. The same goes for recovery time after they've been through something. They're not immediately cracking jokes because they're still recovering, and that is a way to show your reader just how emotionally draining that this event that they went through was. Now, I've gone through a lot of reasons why this character can become a fan favourite so quickly, but as you can imagine, there are also a lot of ways that you can truly mess this up, and this hidden badassery can really annoy your readers. The first way that the hidden badassery can really annoy your readers is that you forget to turn the badass back off again. So you introduce this fun, lovable goof at the beginning of your novel, and then halfway through you make this awesome reveal of the cosmic powers, and then they never go back to being the fun, lovable goof that we were introduced to at the beginning of the novel, so you might as well have killed them off and introduced a brand new character. All of the character building, all of the backstory that you've done up until this point is now null and void because they are not acting like themselves anymore. So what was the point in the first place? The innocence they displayed, the fun that they had, the humour that they had, all of it has just gone and a new person has taken over where they used to be, and the end result means you tend to end up with something that's similar to character whiplash. Another time where the hidden badassery can really annoy your readers is when the badass would stop a character from doing something, yet they go ahead and they do it anyway. It's like the two halves of their personality are at war with each other, they're not gelling, they're not sticking together. So going back to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jake Peralta knows how to shoot and knows how to handle a tough situation. However, if in the middle of this tough situation he was playing around with the gun and shot himself in the foot or one of his friends in the foot, this would sit really badly with the people watching the show because we know he has that badass side of him that knows how he should handle that situation. We've seen him do it before, and as such, this doesn't sit with what we know about his personality. The badass side of him wouldn't allow him to be so reckless and make a mistake that could hurt him or his friends. If, when the situation was tough, all he ever did was crack stupid jokes and provide nothing useful to the team, it would be extremely frustrating because we know that he has more to offer and he just isn't. And because his actions don't fit his abilities and his personality, it comes across as really poor writing. So that's all from me this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hopefully next week I will be a little bit less sunburned, although hopefully it hasn't distracted you too much from this video. So next week, or over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to talk about romantic relationships in novels. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but recently there has been a trend for a lot of romantic relationships in novels to, in my opinion, display some very unhealthy and dangerous behaviour. I've also, in my years of consuming fiction, come across some very irritating romantic tropes that just sort of get on my nerves immediately. And I also thought that I would make a video on what healthy romantic relationship writing should look like, or in my opinion should look like, because there's no one way of doing things. So those are my planned next 3 videos. So that's the unhealthy behaviours, the irritating tropes, and the healthy relationships. If you're interested, make sure you subscribe so you can catch all of that fun stuff. I hope you guys have positive and productive weeks. Don't forget to check out my social media links because I post cool stuff all the time. And I hope you guys will see you here next week. Bye!